Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Trouble, and today I'm going to be reviewing the first few couple chapters of the Berserk manga, which is Guts dealing with the snake count, up until Guts dealing with the snake count. It's my first video. I don't want to be taking on more than I can handle, so for now I'm just going to be doing these couple of chapters. With that said, let's just jump right in. So our story opens up. We see Guts in the woods, and he's doing the deed with a woman. And as he's doing the deed, this woman then transforms into a monster, which we then see that Guts puts his mechanical arm in her mouth and blows her brains out. Yeah, and keep in mind that remember that Guts' mechanical arm is in fact the cannon, because that's going to be important later. Anyway, so he then leaves and arrives at this town, which is Koka, the town of Koka. And as he's arriving in the town, he sees a cart filled with women and children, which ticks him off, right? We don't know really if it just ticks him off, or if it just ticks him off, if it just showed him like, oh, there's something going on, or it just confirmed his suspicion that yes, this is where the snake count is. It's likely that it was a confirmation that, oh yeah, the snake count, and that those were sacrificed. But we don't know if he was just like suspicious of them, like it was just a suspicion that maybe I'm onto something. We don't really know. Anyway, but he goes into the town. He then continues on. We then open up to a bar, and then we see Puck, and Puck is being tortured by these bandits, and no one can do anything about it because as we know, their lord or the snake count is in charge of the town, and they're basically the police force of the town. So there's nothing anyone can really do about it and do anything to stop them, despite the fact that they're very sad about what's happening to Puck. But anyway, right as this is happening, Guts walks into the bar. He walks up to the counter of the bar and basically says to the dude, hey, I'm gonna wreak havoc. And then the first weapon that we ever see Guts use in the story, which is probably Guts' most underrated weapon. A lot of people, they know about the arm cannon, they obviously know the Dragon Slayer and the Berserk armor, but Guts pulls out his crossbow, and immediately Kentaro just shows us that Guts is just ridiculously powerful, because this bolt, it doesn't just shoots into this dude's head. It comes with such force that it just takes his head with it and just lodges it into a pole, killing him instantly. And then it shows us that it's a rapid fire crossbow, so he can fire multiple bows, and he just mows them down with no trouble whatsoever, right? Yeah, he kills like all of them with no trouble, nothing. Anyway, and so it shows us another thing that Miura shows us about Guts, is that he's also an incredible marksman, which is that when he shots the dude in the nose. Well, so this is Kentaro shows our guy, he's good, right? He's very good. Anyway, so Guts walks over to this dude, and he starts to he's like, I need you to bring a message to your master for me. Tell him the Black Swordsman has come for him. And he's like, okay, you know, and then he leaves. And then Guts leaves and tells him to remember the message. But prior to this, what you could classify as a very wise man, one of the bandits runs up to Guts, and this is where we're first introduced to the Dragon Slayer. This is an absolutely amazing panel in the story. It's just amazing, and Guts just splits this dude in half. And again, Kentaro Miura shows us that this is no ordinary human, because one, he's wielding this giant ass sword, which Kentaro Miura classifies as just a heap of iron. And not only that, he cuts him with such freaking force that his body just goes flying off into the crowd. This is just showing us, like, his body doesn't just get cut in half and that's it, it's done. No, he just goes flying. And so anyway, Anyway, so right after that, Guts leaves it, and then he's walking, and Puck comes up to him, and Puck is like, hey, you can't leave a good deed undone, unfinished, just half finished, I should say. What was that back there? And he starts to explain to Guts how he got into that situation, which is that he was with a band of performers, and they got attacked by the bandits, and they all got murdered, and that's how Puck ended up in that situation. Anyway, so Puck continues to talk. He tries to sit on Guts. Guts just brushes him off, like, "Don't touch me." And then the guards, or the mayor, the men that work for the mayor, right, of the town, they come and they arrest Guts, and Puck then flies off, which seemingly pisses off Guts. Anyway, so we cut to the castle, the mayor's castle, and we see Guts being tortured by this dude, and Guts is not saying anything, just nothing. He's torturing this dude. It's just like, hey, can't you at least give me a scream? That's what he's basically doing. And immediately Guts is in charge, and Guts doesn't say anything, which pisses him off even more. And then he goes in to hit Guts, and right as he's about to hit Guts, the mayor of the town walks in. He's like, hey, what have you done? You've basically damned my town. And Guts immediately calls him out on his bullshit. He's like, no, you're just doing this to protect yourself. I saw the cart. I saw the women and children you sent to sacrifice. You're not doing this for the town. You're doing this to save your own ass. And then the mayor, and then this absolute truth bomb just I'll send him on the verge of having a heart attack, right? And then he's like, do whatever you want to him, just don't kill him. And then he leaves. He goes to Coca Castle to talk to the Snake Count. And then we cut to Coca Castle. And in Coca Castle, we see the dude that got shot in the nose with the arrow explaining to the Snake Count what happened. And he's like, yeah, this dude dressed in all black or something, he came in and he just killed Dean. He cut Dean in half. And then right as he's explaining what happened to the Snake Count, another guard comes in saying, oh, the mayor of the town is here to talk to you. He wants to talk to you about the situation. So the mayor comes in, he and the Snake Count gets to talking. He's like, just can you overlook this? I'll do anything if you just overlook this. I'll double the reward. I'll double the sacrifices. I'll give you gold. And then he's like, I don't care about that. I don't really give a shit about that. And this dude is evil because he's just sitting there eating human flesh. And you immediately realize that, yeah, this dude is just fucking evil. Anyway, so he orders his men to take away the count, and then he readies his armors to go out. He's like, we're gonna burn the town, essentially. And then we cut back to Guts, and Guts is he's no longer being tortured. He's locked in a cell, and he tells us that he can't move. He's been tortured to the point where he can't even move his body. And right as then we see for the first time, we don't know what it is yet, but if you've read the entire story, you already know what it is. We see this deformed baby, almost, and Guts is like, oh, you again, which shows us again that, oh, he's familiar with this. Guts has a pass, and he's like, get away, which when he starts saying stay away, it scares Puck, causing him to fall and pee. And anyway, and Puck is like, why do you start screaming? You're scaring me, And Puck goes over to try and heal Guts, and Guts is like, don't touch me. And then Kentaro gives us a little lore on elves and what elves are capable of in the world of Berserk, which is they can feel people's emotions, they can heal, and some people say that it can even bring happiness. Puck clarifies this by saying the dude that did say it was the leader of the performing band, and he had his head chopped off. Take that how you will. Anyway, piece of his brain chopped off. Take that how you will. Anyway, so Puck heals Guts, and as he's healing Guts, he notices the brand. He's like, what's that? What happened? Guts is like, it's the brand. And they get to talking, and Guts basically says, I don't give a shit about what happens in this town. People who are too weak to defend themselves, who get caught up in the battle of others, or they're just too weak to defend themselves, which starts to piss. Like, what the fuck happened, And Puck is like, Jesus Christ, what the hell is wrong with this dude? Anyway, and they continue to talk, and it gets to the point like Puck is like, "You saved me," and Gus is like, "Who saved you? You're an insect. Wasn't trying to save you. I don't care. The only thing I care about is luring him out. I don't care what happens in this town." Which causes Puck to get angry and then flies off. But he did leave the key that he stole from the guard in the cell, allowing Guts to re-armor to escape and put on his armor and then go on. Anyway, so Puck is flying over the city. As he's flying over the city, the entirety of the town is on fire. Everything is burning. You see people getting trampled under the hooves of horses, arrows just mowing down people, and then you see the Snake Count, who is literally impaled a child and drinking its blood. This dude is fucking evil. Anyway, and as this is continuing, he's like, "Go, don't stop, continue, burn it all." And right as he's saying that, right as they're charging at this heap of corpse, right now as they're charging, their master tells them, burn it all. So they're gonna do that. Guts just gets up from under a pile of dead bodies with his crossbow again, and just opens fire, cutting them down, right? And then this other very wise man charges Guts on a horse this time. And with one swing of the Dragon Slayer, again, cuts both the horse's head and this man in half. And again, sends his body flying. Again. Right? And then everybody's just like, what the fuck? How the fuck are we gonna deal with this dude? He just cut the head of a horse and a man in half in one swing with one hand. Now, what the fuck are we gonna do? And that's when the Snake Count steps up. And Snake Count is actually pretty cool. I like his halberd. Yeah, it's a pretty cool halberd. I liked it. And this is a good thing. This is another thing with Miura, is that as you read Berserk, you might not pay attention to it, but if you really like cool medieval weapons and swords and stuff like that, Miura draws a lot of cool looking swords and weapons and stuff like that. I think you're gonna see another one. There's gonna be another one that comes up in the Snake Count. This Slug Count, not the Snake Count, my bad. Yeah, there's gonna be another super cool weapon I remember that comes up in the Snake and the Slug Count, but we'll talk about that in another video. But the Snake Count steps up to Guts, and this is our first look at an apostle, because Guts just basically steamrolled the first one. We don't really know what they're capable of, and Guts immediately just opens fire with his crossbow. And the Slug Count charges Guts, then Guts opens fire. Fills him with so much bow that it just knocks him off his horse. Again, showing you just how ridiculously powerful this goddamn crossbow is. Like, it knocks a fully armored apostle off of his charging horse. This bow is super powerful. This is me realizing this, rereading this chapter, reading these couple of chapters, is that just how disgustingly powerful that goddamn crossbow is. Anyway, it knocks the Snake Count off of his horse, but we get to see that apostles are incredibly tough, because despite the fact that he took one of the bolts to his eyes, if I'm not mistaken, he gets up and he's fine, and he begins to charge Guts again, and he begins to get ready to charge Guts, and Guts just opens fire, and again we see how fucking ridiculous this powerful this goddamn crossbow is, because it sends a fully armored apostle flying off into a fucking building. Like, he was just standing. He wasn't even charging at this point. He was just standing there. This crossbow is super fucking powerful. Anyway, it knocks into the building, and this scene leads me to believe that this is not long after the apocalypse, because Guts does something very amateur, you would say, is because he just walks up to the place, and this is why I feel like he hasn't been doing. This is why I think he hasn't been doing this a long time, because this is very amateurish, because he just so callously walks up to the door, and this is what makes it he hasn't really been doing this for a long time, because this seems very amateurish, right? His guard is down and everything like that, But anyway, he walks up to the door, and then we see the snake count that is finally transformed into his apostle's form. And if you want to see what his face looked like, or if you have forgotten, because the first time I saw that, I was like, yep, that's, yeah, that's exactly what I think it is. So, if you want to see what the slug count, just go, the snake count, go look up his go look it up or go reread the chapter. Yeah, but anyway, that's the first thing I noticed when I saw the slug count. Yeah, me in my mind, right? Anyway, so guts continue, and the snake count, sorry to catch my thoughts, the snake count just begins to dominate Guts again. Like, he just hits him, and he's coughing up blood, he's bleeding, he slams him into a wall, and he's just dominating Guts. He drops Dragon Slayer, and then he picks him up, and then we see the snake count, and he's like, humans are nothing but food, you're so weak, you're so fragile. It's disrespectful when food doesn't act like food, you know? And remember earlier in the video when I tell you to keep in mind that Guts' mechanical arm is a cannon? Yeah, and the Guts just puts that arm and just blows his fucking brains out. It's splattered all over it. Yeah, and he doesn't even, and this causes Snakehand to let go of Guts, and Guts doesn't waste not even a second. Immediately he just gets up and reaches for the Dragon Slayer and just splits this motherfucker in half. Also in another, just the best panel in the arc. I know all the panels are good, but the first one with the Dragon Slayer is just amazing, and this one is just fucking amazing. Like, these panels are just goddamn amazing. Anyway, Guts splits him in half, cut him down instantly, and also the fact that he did this, despite the fact that he was just thrown around, coughing up blood, just shows you just what a tough motherfucker this Guts is. It's like, he's such a tough fucker. Anyway, so yeah, like, the dude was literally coughing up blood, and he just amazing. He just gets up, and yeah. Anyway, so Guts up. He pulls out his crossbow. He fills his skull with another one. He's like, and then he asked him, get the name of the God Hand. Like, where's the God Hand? So, Kentaro setting up. Oh, we want the God Hand, showing us the main enemies of the story, and we see a different side of the slug count where he's not so tough anymore, because he's begging Guts not to kill him. He's like, please don't kill me, don't kill me. And Guts is like, yeah, humans are weak and we are fragile, but never underestimate our abilities or our need to survive, And Guts is like, I'm not gonna kill you, and just gives him a fate even worse than him just putting an arrow in his skull. He lets him burn to death. And as Guts is walking away, we see Puck. Oh, and I forgot, Puck is in the background commenting this whole time throughout the entirety of the fight. We see Puck, and Puck is like, what the hell happened? Why is he like this? What happened to him? This is just so much rage and all that, berserk. And then he gives us like a berserk at the end, and then Guts walks off. And as we know, next coming up is him going to deal with the slug count. And that's the first few chapters of Berserk, which is amazing. It's setup arc. It's just Kentaro Miura setting up the fact that, yeah, this is Berserk. It's dark, it's unforgiving, and it's uncaring. There are villains, and they do not like us. Our main protagonist is broken, and everything just sucks. But it's a good arc, though. It's a good segue into Berserk. I've always loved it. It's not perfect. It doesn't do. It's not the perfect in comparison, is what I should say, to like the other arcs to come. But it does what it's trying to do. It sets up the arc. It sets up the world. It sets the tone. It just does everything right. I'd say there's a lot of arcs, a lot of villains that are done better. But this, it does exactly what Kentaro sets out to do, and it's great. I love it. It's a good read. If you want, if you're bored, you could just go back and go read them right now. Go read those few chapters. It's a good read. If you're new to Berserk, I would advise you. It's dark. if you're into like dark and stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, you should go read it if you're new to Berserk. It's good. It sets up a lot of things. The God Hand, it gets you hooked. Yeah, and those are the first few chapters of Berserk. Comment down below, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.